Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Red Cat holdings. It is time for another update, and it seems on this chart we have succeeded to fulfill almost fully our expectations. Within the smaller time frame we might see some more extensions, but nothing truly absolutely needed to consider a full count. And we have been tracking with high probabilities this idea of a trade setup in this structure. We reversed, we were tracking with great success the next movement to the upside in the wave C, where we have been looking to build a 5-wave pattern, and up to the wave 3 we had great success. Then we were looking for a wave 4 correction and then one more high to complete the internal pattern, and it seems we have just gotten that today. And at this point I have to say we are within a high risk area. Certainly it is the case that we do not require any additional extensions higher, and even though this is not to say that further extensions are not possible, I am wary of the apparent risk within this pattern, as we are looking at a wave C of a wave 5 of a larger diagonal structure. So given the context we currently are within, and by the way, even this wave C is a diagonal pattern and we are within the 5th wave of it, we would be looking at a potentially extremely sharp correction that could follow once we have a top in place. Once again, I'm not calling for a top. We haven't broken any relevant levels of support that would strongly indicate that a top would be in place. And even once we do break internal levels of support, larger time frame support would still be available to us. But yes, we are looking with quite high risk for a substantial correction to form once this structure completes, because we would consider either that we would have a wave A top, that we would be looking for a wave B correction, and a wave C to still take us to higher prices. But realistically, most likely only after within the wave B we reach at least the 38.2% retracement, which by the way will need a slight adjustment. Or we could be within an even more bearish pattern if this is instead an ABC structure, instead of the larger leading diagonal we have been tracking in this white interpretation, where an even more substantial top could be taking place, where we could be looking to go even to new all-time lows. Now, for an indication that we would be looking for the white structure, to be clear, we would require to have a 3-wave pattern to the upside, and we would require to reach at least the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, within this wave 3, to be able to reliably track a follow-up correction in a wave 4. And I say reliably, but keep in mind this is going to be a leading diagonal. It's not going to be the highest probability structure that will succeed. We were only looking with high interest for an opportunity on this chart because we did identify here within a smaller time frame an initial 5-wave move to the upside within a wave A here. That is the only reason we provided a high probability area of support for continuation to even higher prices, because we knew that we were looking to build an ABC pattern within this wave 5, and within this structure that has built up to this point we had a 5-wave pattern that was strongly suggesting that after a 3-wave correction into the area of support down to the $6 level, we would see at the very least another 5-wave move to the upside, which now is taking place, which now is possibly towards the later stages. And once again, extensions are possible. I could be looking at this internal wave 3 to be still ongoing, but the risk is certainly high, the risk is apparent, and depending on your strategy, you may want to consider taking at least some profits. But the idea is this was a high probability structure that succeeded. For example, on the Hims and Hers Health chart, we had a similar 5-wave move to the upside, an initial 5-wave move to the upside within a diagonal structure we were tracking that had an identical area of support, had a high probability structure, but it ultimately failed. It broke below our last level of support and then dropped another 50%. These are not guaranteed. I believe it beneficial to look for potential positions within such structures when they are available, because they do provide very interesting risk-reward ratios, but there is never a guarantee, and looking for positions without such high probability structures may put you in a very risky position. For example, once we have this wave 3 to the upside complete, looking for a position within the wave 4 directly might be a high risk idea. It might be interesting after identifying an initial 5-way move to the upside within a smaller time frame to look for a position, but until that is the case, yes, we will need to be extremely careful. The risk will be there that we will extend much lower, possibly failing to hold any type of support, and if you did not position correctly while going into this area of support in a wave 4, you would be looking at quite substantial losses. Yeah, we need to practice very rigorous risk management, especially within less reliable structures. Now, if you took advantage of the area of support we provided when we topped within this wave A, I would highly appreciate if you leave a like, maybe even a comment, maybe write something like Blue Cat in the chat just to confuse everyone else. And if you're interested in getting more such high quality structures from us, this is for everyone, don't forget to check out our channel newsletter. The sign up link is in the description and it is completely free, and we already provided a quite comprehensive list most recently this Sunday with the stocks we are looking for positions within, the stocks that have high quality structures. Now, this is not financial advice, it's just my opinions, my thoughts on these stocks and the opportunities they present with their respective areas of support that we are looking for. And with that said, let's get back here to the chart. So in this structure, we have been looking for this wave C to form an ending diagonal ever since we didn't manage to create a more reliable impulse. Yeah, initially we were tracking a potential impulse within this idea of a 1-2 setup, and we didn't manage to create a wave 3 here. It looked much more like an ABC pattern, and that's exactly what we have been tracking, and we have been looking only for an ABC pattern within this wave 3. When we had a top, we knew to look for a wave 4 within a diagonal pattern. We provided this area of support and we pushed into the 50% retracement before reversing in the wave 5 to the upside, and here we formed a tiny reset. It wasn't looking too great, but we needed to actually form another low within this orange interpretation to strongly suggest that a 5-wave pattern would have been completed, that this wave 5 would have been completed to the downside. That would have suggested with high probabilities we would be looking for even further continuation lower, but we managed to break here the 78.6% retracement, which signaled that we were likely looking for the breakout within this wave 5 in yellow, and we now have this present. We no longer even need this orange structure, and I'm looking to complete this wave 5 to have a possible full count within the idea of an A, B, C pattern. If we build here a 5-wave structure, I will need to look for extensions, but so far this doesn't seem to be too much of a compelling case, as within the initial movement to the upside that I'm tracking here as a wave A, I'm looking at a 5-wave pattern in my opinion. Then we got a 3-wave correction in the wave B, and now we seem to be looking at an ending diagonal to be forming within this area. And it wouldn't have been a necessity to track this as an ending diagonal, but based on the structure within this area, most specifically, it seems rather likely that, yeah, we will be building possibly a wave 5 in a more direct fashion in this area, where this could be something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And to be clear, I have some ideas of how we could be looking for extensions. I could even consider this to be something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. It could be working out within the idea of an ending diagonal, but remember the context, remember where we are within the large time frame to better understand the risk. Because if you consider that this would be a wave 5 of a wave C of a wave 5 of a large wave C of a large wave 5, you would understand this is expected based on the overall pattern to be the very, very last wave to the upside. Does it need to be the wave 5? No, I once again could be looking for extensions even within a wave 3 in this area. we have multiple options, but the risk is high. The possibilities for continuation higher are there, but they are extremely fragile, and we might be looking at a quite significant drop in a quite direct fashion, given the context of tracking an ending diagonal within a large diagonal structure. I'm not telling you all of these ideas to sell. I'm just telling you to be cautious. I consider the risk to be great within this area, and ultimately it will be your decision because I'm not providing financial advice here. Now, what I'm tracking in this movement to the upside, well, I have a few ideas within this movement as well. I could be looking for this to be a wave C, especially within the idea of a wave 5, but also at the same time, I could be looking for this to turn into a larger wave C itself, where, yeah, we would need to look for an extension in such a case. So I'm looking here at a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I want to provide you this idea because this has the deepest area of support we could be tracking for extensions still to higher prices, where a break below the 61.8% retracement to me would be a quite substantial warning sign that something more bearish would be going on. So I'm watching here the levels down to the $15.6. A break below that would signal that the structure has a very good chance of having a top in place. Ideally, I might still see the possibility of forming another high within this structure internally before looking for this supposed wave 4 correction, but at the same time, that could mark a more substantial top to be in place as well. Now, for a summary, we are able to still track continuation to higher prices, but the context of where we are on this chart is telling us that we are within a high risk area. Yeah, we had a very nice uptrend on this chart. We had a very nice development. Cannot really complain if you bought, if you accumulated along the way of where we are situated currently. Taking profits might not be a bad idea for most people, as the structure is particularly difficult. And I know we haven't reached yet the ideal target within the larger wave C to complete this wave 5, yeah, this wave C. And that was around the $21 level, I believe, 21, 22, I don't remember exactly. And it happens that we do not reach it. It happens that we do not form even a clearly full pattern, that we do not get the last leg to the upside, and we start the larger corrections. And before we end the video, I suppose we could also adjust the large area of support for a supposed wave B in the case where a top would be in place, yeah? We would be looking to reach at least the $4.8. And other than that, if you enjoy our content, if you found this video helpful, and if you want to support us directly, you can check out the channel membership. You even get access to a couple of cool perks as a member. And other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.